Many experts believe aliens may have visited Earth before and will inevitably descend upon us in the future. But more unsettling is the possibility that aliens are already here and that they are using us for their own benefit. Join us as we investigate the growing possibility that aliens closely monitor planet Earth and that our civilization just may be their prized experiment. A global effort has begun. Secret files hidden from the public for decades, detailing every UFO account, are now available to the public. We are about to uncover the truth behind these classified documents. Find out what the government doesn't want you to know. Alien Files, Unsealed. Exposing the biggest secrets on planet Earth. UFOs and close encounters have been reported around the world for decades, in densely populated urban centers, along coastal areas, in rural farmland, and in barren deserts. But why are UFOs here? And what do they want?
There are several different theories about why extraterrestrials might be visiting the Earth. That this is the prelude to some sort of alien invasion, that they're after our resources, whatever it is, and that they are scouting us, studying us, and this is prelude to them coming here all guns blazing to either exterminate us or enslave us.
There's a lot of theories on why they're here. And I think when you truly want to answer that question, you have to understand what the human race wants from the stars, and that's the knowledge, it's the experience, it's the understanding of what's truly going on out there.
Other theories are that they are just scientists, that the reason for studying Earth is purely scientific. They're interested in our geology, our meteorology.
Science tells us that the Earth will eventually cease to exist. And to survive this future catastrophe, the human race must develop the ability to colonize another planet.
The human race cannot be here for infinity. So the same is true for other planets out there in the universe. Suns will die, which means livable planets that are perfect today will not necessarily be perfect tomorrow.
Here on Earth, one way to transform inhospitable environments is called terraforming.
Terraforming is the process by which one would take a hostile environment, an alien planet like Mars or Venus, and one would effect, through a number of different strategies, changes devised at making the planet more like Earth, in many ways indistinguishable from Earth.
So if an alien civilization wants to terraform Earth, I think it's safe to say that they may need another planet to live. That we might be close to being perfect for them because they evolved on a hotter planet or maybe a colder planet, so they need to turn the temperature down or turn the heater up, so to speak. But they could come and change and morph this planet into what they need.
If you can build a spaceship and come to Earth, actually causing a volcano to erupt or changing the path of a hurricane would probably be child's play.
Recently, one such incident had the UFO community and the public on high alert. Unsealed case file. The Popocatépetl UFO, May 30th, 2013, Central Mexico. Active volcano, Popocatépetl, is Mexico's second highest peak and only 40 miles southeast of Mexico City.
Mexican volcanologists obviously need to keep a very close idea on all the volcanoes, and particularly Popocatépetl has been the subject of some considerable concern. So there are remote cameras set up to monitor the volcano.
On May 30th, 2013, there was a UFO that was caught on camera that was seen streaking across the sky towards Mount Popo.
One day, scientists, when reviewing the film, saw an anomalous light, and when they played the film, it seemed to show this UFO actually, at one point, changing direction and flying directly into the crater of the volcano itself.
Why would a UFO fly into the smoking caldera of a volcano? And how could it sustain such high temperatures?
A lot of people theorize that these UFOs are helping civilization on Earth by stopping natural disasters. Mount Popo is an active volcano. It can blow at any time. And some think that these UFOs will have some type of physical effect on the mountain itself, on that volcano, to, in essence, calm it down to where it doesn't erupt, in essence, killing thousands of people.
One theory is that extraterrestrials monitor the Earth and occasionally use technology to keep us safe from a global catastrophe.
Some people have said that this is what happened with the UFO at Popocatépetl, that this was some sort of probe sent into the volcano to prevent it from erupting.
Many believe that the alien civilization that's visiting Earth is trying to help us, to preserve us, to stop any natural disaster that might wipe out a large corner of our civilization.
But many in the UFO community think otherwise.
I don't believe that the aliens are going to come here just to stop a volcano in the middle of Mexico to save lives. Death is a part of living. It's just a fact. So if these are physical creatures and physical beings, I don't believe they're going to come to a planet simply to play God. It just doesn't seem plausible to me.
Next, we investigate a dangerous UFO incident over a top-secret nuclear weapons facility. Alien Files, Unsealed. Experts are divided on whether alien visitors are friend or foe. But ever since the first atomic bomb test on July 16, 1945, in Alamogordo, New Mexico, UFOs have been appearing in alarming numbers over top-secret nuclear weapons facilities.
It seems clear that there is a connection of some sort between the UFO phenomenon and the development of nuclear technology on Earth. It's interesting that the birth of the modern UFO phenomenon in 1947 came very soon after the detonation of the first atomic bombs, first as a test, and then, of course, at Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
There's a lot of speculation that our nuclear development, our nuclear arsenals, the technology that could allow the human race to completely wipe itself literally off the map, would be of great interest to another society.
It's also interesting that really the first burst of UFO activity took place in a geographical part of the United States where so much of the world's nuclear industry was actually based. Roswell was actually the home of the world's only atomic bomb-capable squadron in 1947.
But what may have begun in New Mexico spread to all corners of the United States. Unsealed case file, the Minot UFO. October 24th, 1968, Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota.
There was an intriguing UFO encounter at Minot Air Force Base in 1968, and this involved, by varying reports, one or even two UFOs in close proximity of the base. And one of the things that made this case so compelling was that the UFO was tracked on radar.
In the early 1960s, Minot became a major strategic air command base with nuclear-tipped intercontinental ballistic missiles and manned bombers.
An incoming B-52 was on patrol. It was coming in for a landing, and it was radioed that there was an unidentified craft about 3 miles from their aircraft.
Now, there was a B-52 bomber returning to the base, and personnel at Minot were in communication with the B-52. They said, "We are tracking on our radar scope an uncorrelated target," and they asked the crew to look out for this. And the crew themselves saw a UFO, and subsequently the perimeter alarm, both the outer and the inner perimeter alarm, were triggered.
These pictures are actual radar scope photographs taken of the unidentified Minot object.
Now, they couldn't figure out exactly what this thing was, but the B-52 confirmed by radar that there was a fast-moving object about 3 miles away. Then, all of a sudden, as the documentation says, the craft went from 3 miles to about 1 mile from the aircraft like that, at a very fast rate of speed, something that they said their technology at the time just couldn't do.
At one point, communications went offline again, so one has all the way through this encounter the corroboration. This UFO was seen visually. It was tracked on radar. It was seen by the military witnesses on board the B-52, and it somehow triggered the remote sensors that set off the alarms. In evidential terms, a case does not get much better than that.
The B-52 crew claims the UFO paced their aircraft for about 20 miles before quickly disappearing.
The B-52 crew was then radioed about a second UFO being seen on radar by the base that was either slightly above or on the ground just outside the military installation.
The bomber is ordered to investigate the second UFO, but they cannot identify the craft.
The B-52 was able to do a flyby and see a brightly lit object on or near the ground that they simply could not identify. After doing a pass, they later landed back at base, but they were never able to determine what the origin of those two craft were.
Again, one is faced with the inescapable conclusion that our nuclear capability, our nuclear facilities are at the center of all of this.
Many other reports suggest that some UFOs are immune to Air Force defenses, but still have never attacked. This leads some UFO experts to wonder if aliens might be performing reconnaissance of Earth, or perhaps policing us.
Does a civilization become interesting and perhaps a cause for concern when it develops, as we developed, not just nuclear technology, but with our rockets, the capability to ultimately take our nuclear technology out into the wider galaxy?
We don't know what part our solar system plays. It might not be that they care about the human race. It might be that they care about this one planet, the third rock from the sun, because it brings stability on a much grander scale.
If extraterrestrials are interested in one thing about planet Earth, it would be that thing which poses the biggest significant threat, both to ourselves and indeed to any other civilizations that might be out there.
Next, we investigate shocking claims that UFOs are coming after planet Earth's most dominant resource, human beings. Alien Files, Unsealed. Evidence suggests that planet Earth is being visited by extraterrestrials. But exactly why they are here and what they may be after is still a mystery.
There's something about Earth that would be helpful to them if they've got a breeding program, a genetic study of some sort. There is so much biodiversity on Earth, and life seems to find its way into almost every niche that one could really say there's almost everything and anything that you would want. And it's right here for the taking.
Unsealed case file, the Corina Sables abduction. Aldergrove, British Columbia, July 17th, 1991. Corina Sables and a friend witness a huge boomerang-shaped UFO in the night sky above her home. Suddenly, she vanishes, only to reappear an hour later with no memory of the incident. And she cannot account for the missing time. Following her disappearance, she has a strange feeling that this was not the first time she had been taken.
That could be something that they could come to this planet to mine for themselves. Maybe that resource is in the human body.
Soon after, her daughter begins drawing an alien that she calls the Doctor, who she says occasionally enters her room while she sleeps The drawing opens a flood of hidden abduction memories in Sables, including needles piercing her stomach and seeing rows of alien fetuses in liquid suspension.
Now, in this incident, it's reported that DNA was actually removed. It's as if these people are being harvested, almost as a resource.
As the memories become more distinct, Sables comes to believe that she is part of an ongoing experiment to create alien-human hybrids.
The Karina Sables incident is really a classic example of what you would call a repeater abductee, somebody who's had multiple experiences. These things are seldom one-offs.
Sables makes another startling revelation, recalling childhood stories that her mother told her. Stories of alien abduction.
They start in childhood, they continue throughout the lifetime, and they seem to involve different members of the same family.
The question is, what sort of interest and use to the abductors is genetic material from multi-generational bloodlines? Sables claims her womb has been used by Greys to produce alien fetuses. But before they can be born, she is abducted again, and they are removed from her body.
Human DNA and genetic material is being harvested as part of a program to create a hybrid race.
But why would the Greys want to crossbreed with humans?
It's been speculated that the Greys might be clones that are degrading through successive clonings. The idea one often hears is that the aliens are a dying race, that they're trying to reinvigorate themselves by bringing in fresh genetic material to enable them to breed again, to procreate, to survive.
Some believe that aliens may be among us, and they may be after more than just our physical resources.
There could be 1,000 or 1,000,000 or even an infinite possibilities of what they don't have, but the human race takes for granted.
So maybe millennia ago, these were biological intelligences who lost their biology, they lost their bodies. And it's now, maybe, they want back what they once had.
Could some extraterrestrials originate from vast cyborg civilizations? And if so, what is the one key thing these beings might be lacking?
The one thing that they might want is a soul.
If some alien civilizations are seeking something much deeper than just our DNA, what might happen if they succeed?
Imagine something which has existed as a clone for millennia suddenly getting hold of human emotions: anger, love, fear, hate, wonder. Would they be able to control these emotions? Would they be able to handle them?
Look at humans. You got some really good ones, and you got some really bad ones. The minute a machine can think for itself, and all of a sudden 1,000 years of human thought is achieved in 72 hours by a machine, when you look at that, you're flirting with disaster.
Alien Files, Unsealed.